Intro-web. Hey, anyone have any thoughts on Steam being added to Xbox? Like, I'm pretty sure this means PlayStation's in trouble. Yeah, odds are this is something you don't care about, but it's what's on my mind, so you shut up. Sometimes you just need some stuff to think about that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. In other words, you're being rude. Anyways, today we're talking about Asmongold becoming the 8th most searched term on YouTube. It's deeper than that, I promise. I think, anyways. The Menendez Brothers hearing on what could lead to their freedom has been postponed, and a 24-year-old was able to go a year posing as a teen and attending high school all over again. All in today's episode of... But before we start, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you're always in the loop. Now...
Asmongold has surged to become the 8th most searched term on YouTube globally, surpassing major figures and entities like Kendrick Lamar, the NBA, and Minecraft.
Alright, so Asmongold's ascent in 2025 marks a significant shift in digital content consumption. According to SimilarWeb, he now ranks as the 8th most searched term on YouTube globally with about 7.25 monthly searches. This puts him ahead of prominent names like Kendrick Lamar, IShowSpeed, and major brands like the NBA and Minecraft of all things. On Twitch, he leads America's most watched streamers in Q1 of 2025, amassing 26.22 million hours watched over about 567 hours streamed. Dear God, that is a lot of time. How many human lives is that? This outpaces competitors like Kaizenat and IShowSpeed, which kind of highlights the dominant presence he's really becoming on the platform. Or is on the platform. He's been there for a while. His YouTube channels, AsmongoldTV and Zachrar, primarily feature clips from his Twitch streams. Now, a critical component of Asmon's traction lies in his pivot into commentary, often veering into territory that challenges mainstream norms. His takes tend to reject or critique what's commonly labeled as PC narratives in movies, games, and media coverage. Now, this position likely aligns with the broader cultural undercurrent of skepticism toward narratives and sanitized discourse. Now, the scale of his popularity may suggest more than just an affinity for his style. It could reflect a wider audience fatigue with highly curated, ideologically aligned media. His blunt and often unfiltered views obviously resonate with a segment of the public seeking alternative perspectives and more authentic commentary, particularly in spaces like gaming where community voices are historically resisted outside editorialization. Yet, gaming companies have been tending to bend to the loudest people on the internet. Then the game releases and shocker, it fails. It's like the people they're trying to cater to don't even show up if you gave them what they wanted. Maybe you should stop doing that. And upon learning about his search ranking, all Zach responded with was a WTF. Sorry, Zach is Asmongold if you didn't know that. When you live on the internet, it's hard to ignore the biggest people on the internet. Anyhow, given his current trajectory, Asmon's influence in digital media will likely continue to expand.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, convicted of murdering their parents in 1989, have had their parole hearing delayed to August. A recent resentencing made them eligible for parole after 35 years in prison.
So quick recap if you've been living under a rock. The Menendez brothers, now aged 57 and 54, were convicted of fatally shooting their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, back in 1989. They've consistently claimed that the murders followed prolonged physical and sexual abuse. Now, the Menendez case has re-entered focus following a resentencing decision which modified their punishment from life without parole to 50 years to life. The shift was based on their ages being under 26 at the times of the murders, aligning with an evolving standard on youth sentencing. Now, this translated to the revised sentencing making them eligible for immediate parole review. Originally scheduled for June 13th, the parole hearing is now delayed until August 21st, and as of recording, there hasn't been any reason given for the postponement. And if parole is granted, there'll be like 90 days to review the decision. Additionally, the brothers' legal team has petitioned for clemency, an alternative route independent of parole board recommendations. The upcoming parole decision will serve as a test case for broader reform efforts, particularly around reevaluating life sentences imposed on young offenders.
A 24-year-old man allegedly posed as a 16-year-old student at Perrysburg High School for over a year, joining sports teams and receiving local support before being arrested for forgery in May.
Anthony E. Labrador Sierra, who henceforth shall be referred to as Anthony, age 24, was arrested after allegedly enrolling at Perrysburg High School under a false identity and attended classes and sports practices for over 16 months. Yeah, he's now been charged with felony forgery for using fake documents to pose as a 16-year-old from January 2024 to May 2025. He reportedly gained entry into the school district under provisions which provided educational services to unaccompanied minors. He was also able to obtain the supporting documentation, including a driver's license, social security number, and temporary protected status. The paperwork enabled Wood County to place him with a foster family in Perrysburg. Could you imagine finding out that your foster teen was a whole-ass adult? I think there's a horror movie about that. I don't remember what it's called, though. Editor, picture please. Thank you. The deception unraveled when the host family learned on May 14th that he was actually 24 years old. School officials confronted Anthony the very next day, but obviously he claimed the documents were accurate and claimed to be 17 at that time. The school barred him from campus and began reviewing social media and other evidence. This led to police involvement and his arrest on May 19th. The case kinda highlights failures in multiple vetting systems here across the board and at all layers, no? The school district emphasized that it followed all legal procedures and responded promptly when the irregularity surfaced. I mean, sorta promptly. A year is pretty prompt, I guess. The incident is under continued investigation, and Anthony remains in custody on a $50,000 bond with a no-contact order and travel restrictions in place. A preliminary hearing is now set for May 29th. And on that piece of taking wanting to relive your childhood way too far news, I'm gonna call it. Don't forget to smash that like button, help spread some news. Now, go away. Bye.